Hello, everyone. It is the Monday edition of Daily Betslip. It is myself. It is Peter Dewey. I'm sick, so this is my Jordan flu game as we try to get through it today. As I'm actually kind of thankful I was sick yesterday because I had so many bad beats in the NFL, but I didn't really care because I was just falling in and out of consciousness while lying down in bed. So it's probably a good NFL Sunday to be sick, but we're going to try to get through the show here. If I don't cough up all over the place. We got a lot of bets to get through tonight. We got the game of the night, which is Monday Night Football between the Steelers and the Colts. We got some NBA bets. We got a college basketball bet and NHL bets, and also community picks. Of course, some picks have been entered in by the BetSided community. And also, Peter and I have a couple of long shot bets that we're going to place to make the NFL playoffs now that we are officially in the final stretch of the NFL season. I think this is the last time you can kind of place some value bets to make the playoffs. So we'll jump into those as well. Peter, how was your weekend?
It was good, man. Had a wedding after Thanksgiving, so that was a lot of stuff going on. But I do want to say, first time back on the program since I guaranteed a Knicks win. They did win that game.
Did they win? I didn't even pay attention to that night.
They beat the Oklahoma City
who was
Thunder.
It? Thunder, yes.
So
there you go.
The guarantees are 1 for 1 this year. We'll keep track of those. I might not guarantee another Knicks win again the rest of the season just to stay perfect.
I like it. 1-0 on Peter's guaranteed locks of the night. So no guarantees tonight.
No guarantees tonight. A lot of NBA games though. Very, very fun NBA slate tonight.
And I have placed an NBA bet. One of my 3 best bets is on an NBA bet. I'm dipping my toe into some NBA betting here. If it loses, I might retire for the rest of the season. And it's not even a player prop. Usually I go to player prop if I go NBA. No, I'm going to bet on an NBA total tonight. How about that? So we're going to get into that in a little bit. But first, let's take a look at some community picks for tonight. A little bit of everything sent in today. Starting off with Chips at Chips Picks Daily. He's on the Leafs minus 145. He says this is an early gift from Santa Claus. Little Santa Claus emoji. How cute. Despite winning 4 in a row since November 15th, Detroit still ranks 24th in Corsi percentage, 23rd in scoring chances during that span. Oh my God. It's hard to talk when my nose is just stuffed like this. Leafs are significantly better in every major underlying statistic, 6-0-2 in their last 8. I was there live for the Leafs' big win over the Devils last Wednesday. I'm on this pick as well. I agree with it. This is not one of my picks on the show today. I saw it was sent in as a community pick, so I figured I'd just give out my pick for that as well. But yeah, I like the Leafs. I think this is an easy spot for them to beat the Red Wings here as well. They outrank the Red Wings in just about every single statistic or category that you want to look at. Once again, I'm sticking with my strategy of not doing puck line or 3-way money line, just in case things get weird and go into overtime. I'll just take the Leafs on the money line. The biggest weakness for the Red Wings is their offense, 30th in expected goals for this season. So yeah, I'm with Chips picks. I mean Maple Leafs. I got them at minus 152, so not quite as good of a line as Chips got them at. But there you go. So we agree with the first bet of the night. Peter, unless you have anything to add about some hockey, we can move on to the second community pick.
I'm good. I was going to ask you if that's your Leafs lock of the night right there.
Yes.
We can't guarantee? Little guarantee?
No, I'm not guaranteeing. No, I will never guarantee anything about the Toronto Maple Leafs. They are the last team you should guarantee anything on. By the way, what do you think about my new Christmas set here? Adding a little festivities to the background.
Looks fantastic. I got to step my game up. I got to get some lights back here or something because that looks good, man.
Hell yes. All right, let's go next community pick then. This is a game of the night here. Pick for game of the night from Hot Takes with TP3 at TP3 Bets. He's on the Steelers plus 2.5. He says Mike Tomlin, 15-1 straight up on Monday Night Football against teams not named the Cincinnati Bengals. Steelers own the Colts, winning 7 straight against them. I'm not a huge trends guy, but I do like the Steelers. But we'll talk about that game when it's our game of the night. So we won't spoil our opinions on that. But you have something to add there, Peter?
Got some bad news. The sign is falling behind me. I think that means Aaron Judge is leaving the Yankees. I don't know. Could mean something. Last time the sign fell, the Yankees got swept by the Astros. So we're in dire straits over here.
I'm starting to think he's going to San Francisco. I think he's going home.
It would hurt. I wouldn't blame him though. I mean, the Yankees are bad, so I wouldn't.
Yeah, that's a bad omen. Yeah, I didn't see that it fell, but it
fell in between the community picks. Not what you want.
Not good. JJ, our producer, chimes in and says Giants said they would not be outbid for him. So Giants going all in. I feel like a few different teams I feel like the Mets might have said the same thing. I feel like the Yankees said the same thing too, though. So whatever it is, Aaron Judge is going to get a lot of money. Whoever he gets it from, he's going to be one rich man. I'll tell you that. That's a
good time to be Aaron Judge. That's
my Ian guarantee of the show is that Aaron Judge is about to be rich.
That's pretty good guarantee. He might already be there, to be honest with you.
Yeah. All right. Let's third community pick. Another hockey one, the Leviathan of Locks at Leviathan Locks. I think me and Leviathan were on opposite sides on a pick last week. But he's on the Kings in hockey. The Kings, the late game of the night, 10:30 p.m. Eastern start against the Seattle Kraken. Minus 118 as of right now at FanDuel. I have no take on this game. I'm not betting on it. I like both teams this year. They've both kind of impressed me. The Seattle Kraken looking a lot better, especially defensively this year than they did last season. So this is a toss-up. I think the odds are set right. Unfortunately, don't have anything else to add with this pick, though. It's a late one. If you're living on the East Coast and you're staying up to watch this bet, you have a late night ahead of you. You're going to be up till at least about 1 a.m., 1:30. It's a late one. Sorry, I wish I had more to add to that one, but I don't. I think this odds are set right. Let's go ahead and bring up the next one. I think we have an NBA one here. No, this is college basketball. Sam Houston State +4. They're taking on Nevada. Another late one. Peter, you like this pick, but maybe you want to talk with this one a little bit instead.
Yeah, we'll break this one down in best bets.
All right. Hold the phone on that one. Peter will give that his thoughts on that one when we get to best bets. Do we have one more community pick? I think we have one more. Paris Campbell touchdown, an anytime touchdown score for tonight. This comes in from Rhodes at Rhodes News. Let me see if I don't have the odds in front of me. Peter, do you have a favorite anytime touchdown score for tonight?
I was kind of leaning. I was leaning towards Kenny Pickett just because Jalen Warren's out. I forgot what his odds were. I think it was like 8-1 or something like that. But I was leaning Kenny Pickett just because I have no confidence in Najee Harris so far this season. So I wouldn't be surprised if Kenny Pickett gets a little QB sneak, maybe an option play in the red zone. But I haven't bet one yet. That would be the one I'm leaning towards, though.
Kenny Pickett +550. That's at FanDuel, though. You might be able to get a better price. I just happen to have FanDuel open in front of you. Paris Campbell coming in at +310. I've had Paris Campbell on my Dynasty Fantasy League since he's been a rookie. Since I took him in our rookie draft. Still hasn't panned out. Keep waiting for him to explode. But this year has been his best year so far. At least he's healthy. So I'd be down for Paris Campbell touchdown. Not in my starting lineup, though. I'll tell you that. Pat Freiermuth is a popular bet I'm seeing to score a touchdown tonight, +250. I think I saw Ben Heisler's on him.
Yeah, that's pretty good odds for him. I feel like he's their best red zone option now. They traded Claypool, too.
Yeah. So there you go. Those were our community picks. Now let's talk best bets. I have two in the NHL. Already gave out my first Leafs. That's not one of my best bets here on the show, though. Two in the NHL. And I got an NBA totals bet for tonight. Peter, you got one college basketball. You have an NBA side and an NBA player prop.
Yes, sir.
So why don't I start us off? We'll go NHL, college, NHL, and then we'll rack off our three NBA picks.
Perfect.
And then we'll talk some NFL playoff long shots here in a little bit, which I'm excited to get into because I've thought about this deep today, and we're both on some extreme long shots, and I think both of them kind of tie in together a little bit. But I'll get into that in a little bit, and I like them both. But let's talk best bets here first. I will start off with my first best bet. It is in the NHL. It is the New Jersey Devils. I got them -110. I think they're up to -115 now. But still pretty close to a pick 'em here against the New York Rangers. Going across the Hudson River. The Devils are coming into Manhattan, taking on the Rangers at Madison Square Garden. The Devils, even though the Leafs beat them last week, and I'll be honest, Devils probably deserved to win that game. They had 3 disallowed goals. I don't know if you saw that game, Peter. Did you see the beer being tossed on the ice?
I did see that. I saw your tweets with the beer being tossed on the ice. Just a crazy scene. I feel like hockey's like the only sport you really see. I mean, baseball, sometimes people throw trash on the field, but like where you see like that kind of reaction to things that happen in the game, whether it's a hat trick or like a bad call, I think it's hilarious.
That is what makes hockey so special. But what a disgrace of a fan base throwing beer on the ice. Sure, there were 3 disallowed goals, but all 3 of them should have been disallowed. It's not the ref's fault. They had to make the right call. Especially the last one. It was clearly kicked into the net. There's no reason to throw beer on the ice. Come on, Devils fans. But I will back the Devils tonight here. They have now won 2 straight. They had a 13-game winning streak snapped by the Leafs. They've now won 2 straight since that loss. And they still lead the NHL, if not lead top 3 in basically every single category you want to look at. They're second in 5-on-5 Corsi percentage, first in expected goals per game, second in expected goals against per game. I don't really know why the Devils all of a sudden got this good, but they are, and the stats back it up. You would think that I would call a team like this frauds, but I don't just toss the frauds label out on any old team. If they have the good stats to back up their good record, then that's what they are, a good team. And that's what the Devils are. I'll continue to back them. Especially the Rangers have kind of stumbled a little bit defensively. Igor Shesterkin has not played as well as he did last year in his Vezina Trophy winning season. So I'll take the Devils here as a pick'em. Really quick before I get to your pick here, Peter, Beers and Bow Ties chimes in. I know Ian will now agree with this, or I'm assuming he meant not agree with this, but fun parlay, Lightning money line, Pelicans money line, Timberwolves +1, Steelers Colts over 40, plus 796 odds, $25 to win 204. Hey, here's how I feel about parlays. If you are aware that you're just doing it for fun and it's not a long-term winning strategy, bet as many parlays as you want. I don't do it because it's proven not to. Well, I do it sometimes and I do them for fun. But what I don't like is when people give out parlays and they like call themselves a professional bettor and they like try to sell parlays to people. They're proven to be one of the worst betting strategies in terms of making money. But in terms of having fun, they're great. So I like it. Lightning money line, I like that. I don't know about the 2 NBA ones. Steelers Colts over 40. I do actually sneakily like the over in that game. So I like that one, Beers and Bow Ties. Peter, do you have any quick thoughts about Pelicans money line or Timberwolves +1 in that parlay?
I'm going to talk Pels in my best bets. I like the Timberwolves tonight, though. I think Washington is insanely overrated this season. They're like bottom 10 of the league in net rating, but they're over 500. They're due for some regression. They've lost 3 in a row. I think it's going to kind of keep spiraling for them. They just don't have as good of a team as their record indicates. And Minnesota, although they haven't looked great this season, defensively, they're one of the better teams in the NBA. I believe they're 11th in defensive rating. So I like Minnesota in that game for sure. And I'll talk the Pelicans game in a little bit.
Yeah, in terms of the over for the Steelers and Colts, I kind of like the over in that one. I'm going to talk about that game when we get to game of the night. But Steelers offense, especially Kenny Pickett, quietly been playing well the past few weeks. But we'll talk about that in a little bit. All right, you got a college basketball pick, and it is the same one as someone in the community sent in earlier in the show. So talk to us about that one.
Yes, sir. So I'm taking Sam Houston State +4 against Nevada here. Sam Houston State's undefeated on the season, and it hasn't been a cheap undefeated. They beat Utah. They beat Oklahoma, two Power 5 conference teams, and they really do it on the defensive end. They're 30th in the country in adjusted defensive efficiency. They haven't allowed more than 55 points in a game so far this season. So they really get into it on the defensive end. Right now, they come into this game, so they're coming off a couple easy games. They defeated Northern Illinois, and I believe the other game they played was oh my God, I'm forgetting the team already, but they played somebody else who was terrible. So they had 2 easy games after the Utah win. But I think they get up for this game against Nevada. Nevada, obviously a better team than a lot of these teams that they're going to face, that Sam Houston State will face during the season. They're 101st in the country in adjusted offensive efficiency. But they're going up against a Sam Houston State team, really limits opponents, 54th in opponent effective field goal percentage, 14th in opponent offensive rebound percentage. So they're not allowing a lot of easy second chance buckets. I just think it comes down to Sam Houston State has already shown they can compete with these high major teams. They're going to muck this up and make it a defensive game. I believe the total is down into the 130s at this point. It's 129.5 actually. So if the total ends up being around where it is, I just don't see anyone running away with this game. I'll gladly take the points with Sam Houston State. They've shown all season long that they can compete with really good teams. And if they play defense like they have so far this season, 50, 60 points, I think they got a shot to win this outright.
All right, I like it. There's the college basketball pick for the show. I don't have any college basketball picks to give out on the show, but I am on 2 that I gave out this morning. So if anyone's curious, I like Tulane -18.5 against Louisiana Monroe tonight. And Troy, I got them plus 18. It's down to plus 16. So you lost 2 points of value on that, but I still like Troy. I think they can keep it somewhat close with Arkansas tonight. So there's some college basketball picks for everyone. I got one more NHL, and then we're going to dive into some NBA here. My second NHL pick for tonight, I got Panthers Oilers over 6.5, minus 120. Pretty straightforward here, and anyone who watches hockey is probably and bets on hockey is probably going to be on the over as well. Not exactly. It's kind of an obvious pick to make because these two teams are exactly what you want when you're betting on the over. Two high-powered offenses. They rank second, the Panthers do, and they always rank 9th in 5-on-5 expected goals per game, 11th and 28th in expected goals against per game. They're averaging a combined 6.72 goals per game, and they're allowing an average combined 6.87 goals per game. So ton of offense, not much for defense. Not overthinking this one. Going to keep it simple. Panthers Oilers over 6.5. For my final NHL pick. Let's talk some NBA now. Peter, you got one of each because you have a side, I have a total, and you have a player prop. So let's start off with the side.
Yeah, I'm taking the Thunder plus 6. I got them a little bit earlier today. Some places this is 5.5 now. I'm taking them plus 6 against the Pelicans tonight. I told Beers and Bow Ties I'd touch on this game a little bit. Really, I just don't know if the Pelicans offensively are going to be able to blow this OKC team out. Brandon Ingram's doubtful with a toe injury. CJ McCollum is out. He's in health and safety protocols. So that's 2 of your 3 leading scorers not playing in this game against the Thunder team that's coming in at full strength. Obviously, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has been an all-NBA caliber player so far this year. And the Thunder have been one of the best teams in the NBA as road dogs so far. They're 6-2 against the spread. They have a bunch of straight-up wins against contending teams. They beat Denver straight up. They beat Dallas straight up. They have a win against the Knicks straight up. I'm missing other. They beat the Clippers straight up. Like, they have a bunch of wins against quality teams. Pelicans are a quality team. I'm not going to take anything away from them, but you take any 2 teams, 2 of their top 3 leading scorers out of the lineup, it's naturally going to be a closer game. I just think in this matchup, I think OKC can put up the points necessary to kind of keep this thing close. The difference between the Thunder this year and last year, they had one of the worst offenses in the league. This year, they're kind of more middle of the pack. So I think they hang around in this game. I'm not brave enough to bet them to win this outright, but 6 points just feels like too much when the Pels are missing those guys.
All right, Thunder plus 6 for the first NBA pick. Here's my big NBA pick. I'm curious your thoughts on it because maybe I'm way off here. I'm going to take the Hornets and Celtics under 225. Celtics are a very good shooting team. I know the Hornets are banged up here, but Hornets pretty good defensively, 9th in both defensive efficiency and opponent effective field goal percentage. They're also the worst shooting team in the NBA, dead last in effective field goal percentage. So good defense, bad offense. That usually leads to an under here. It does kind of concern me a little bit that Charlotte seems to play at a pretty high pace. But the Celtics play at a somewhat of a slow pace, below average, I think, in possessions per game and field goal attempts per game. So hopefully they can slow down the Hornets a little bit. So I think this total is a little bit too high based on the numbers I'm looking at. I'll take under 225.
I don't mind that one at all. I think also what's going to help you out, Jaylen Brown is questionable with neck stiffness tonight. They sat Tatum on the front end of a back-to-back yesterday. Would not surprise me if they sit Brown on the back end of this back-to-back. So naturally, that kind of hurts Boston's offense. I have a prop in this game, which we'll talk about in a second, but I debated laying the points with Boston for the shooting advantage. They're the best shooting team in the NBA. The Hornets are the worst. Not sure if I want 10.5 is a lot of points if Brown doesn't play. But I agree with you. I don't think this is going to be some high-scoring game. The Hornets have too many important offensive players out as well.
All right, you said your player props in this game. Let's hear that.
Yeah, I'm taking Jason Tatum over 29.5 points. Like I said, if Jaylen Brown misses this game, it's going to be the Jason Tatum show. He's taking over 20.5. He's taking 20.5 shots per game this year. So if Jaylen Brown's out, who is also taking around 20 shots a game, probably going to see Tatum in the 25 range, I'd say, for shots tonight. He's going to have a big night for them. Obviously fresh because he got to sit at the front end of the back-to-back. He's had 3 of his last 5 games against the Hornets. He's put up 35 or more points. He's averaging 30.5 points per game on the season. Hornets are a better defensive team this year by a long shot than they were last year. But like Ian mentioned, they push the pace. So if we're going to see a lot of possessions eventually in this game, I think Tatum's the guy who's going to benefit from them. If you're going to take an over on any Celtics player, probably going to be Tatum just for the usage. So 29.5, low enough for me. He's had 2 30-point games his last 2 games. I think he goes over.
All right, so there you go. Those are our best bets for tonight. Let's bring up our recap graphic here so we can go through them in case you missed the start of this portion of the show. My hockey bets tonight, I'm on Devils -110 over the Rangers, over 6.5, -120 between the Panthers and Oilers. Also a little NBA action for myself tonight. I like under 225 between the Hornets and the Celtics. Peter, you're on Sam Houston State +4, OKC Thunder +6, and over 29.5 points for Jason Tatum. Next up, we're going to talk long shots to make the NFL playoffs, because if you look at the odds, it's pretty obvious. It's pretty straightforward probably who is going to be in the playoffs in the NFL. So we decided to take a look at some long shots. So don't roast us, because these are 6-1 or longer teams. But I have a scenario here that I want to dive into involving actually both of these teams that we picked. So Peter, why don't you start us off? Who's your NFL long shot to make the postseason?
My long shot is the Jacksonville Jaguars. Maybe a little bit of recency bias off that comeback win against Baltimore, but it kind of put them back. They're only 3 games now, 3 games out in the AFC South division. I think that's probably going to be their best path to actually end up making the playoffs, would have to be winning this division. But there is a path for the Jags. Trevor Lawrence has been one of the best quarterbacks in football over the last month. He has a 6-0 touchdown interception ratio. Been playing probably the best football of his career at this point over the last month. And the Jags schedule sets up well where if they play well, they can make a run. They play 2 games against the Titans to finish the season. So potential chance to pick up 2 of those 3 games that they need to pick up in the division. Obviously, if they pick up all 3 and they win both of those games, they're tied. They're going to have the tiebreaker in the head-to-head. They also have matchups with the Lions, the Jets, and the Texans. Jets are a good team this year, but they're also starting a backup quarterback right now. I am not, extremely high on the Jets just for their quarterback situation. I think that's a winnable game for the Jags. The Lions, obviously, still, I think, a winnable game for them. And then Houston is the worst team in football, so another winnable game for them. They do have a tough matchup with the Dallas Cowboys, but at least it's at home for them. I'm not saying they're going to win out, but Tennessee's going to have to play well down the stretch. They're not just going to be able to coast and, go 1-2-3, 2-4. Like, they're going to have to play well for the Jag to hold off the Jags here. And I really think it just comes down to those Titans game. They win that first Titans game. I think there's going to be a little bit of a tightening around that grip the Titans have on that lead. The Jags are going to be right there. So plus 600, I think it's worth a shot. I think they have a chance to win this division.
All right, I like it. So you made the case for the Jaguars, and I teased earlier that my team kind of ties in with the Jaguars, because the team I'm going to propose here is a team that's playing the Jaguars this week, the Detroit Lions. I think whoever wins this game makes the playoffs. That's my take. So you made the case for the Jaguars. Let me make the case for the Lions if they win this weekend. If they win this weekend, the remaining schedule, the Vikings, Jets, Panthers, Bears, and Packers. All of those games are completely winnable for the Lions. Vikings is obviously tough, but I think the Vikings aren't as good as the record indicates. And didn't they play? Yeah, they only lost by 4 to the Vikings earlier this year. Now they're at home. Jets, who knows what happens in that game. Panthers will be favored. Bears will be favored. And they already beat the Packers once. They got to finish off their season playing them again. So there is a world. It's obviously going to take a lot, but the Lions could win out. Like, none of these games are they going to be bigger than a 3-point underdog in any of these games. Maybe the Vikings. So Lions' schedule is pretty easy. Look in the NFC. The Giants and the Commanders, as of right now, the NFC East, every single NFC East team would be in the playoffs. I think both the Giants and the Commanders fall out. At least one of them, because their schedules are tough. They play each other twice. The Giants, 4 of their games outside of the 2 games against Commanders, the Eagles, Vikings, Colts, and Eagles again. So Eagles twice, chalk those up as 2 losses likely. The Vikings, who knows, and the Colts kind of who knows in that one. The Commanders, they take the Giants on, then they have a bye week, then they take the Giants again, and then 49ers, Browns, Cowboys. They're probably going to end the season on a 3-game losing streak. So Lions, even though they're 3 games back of these 2 teams right now, you know what they do have an advantage on over these 2 teams is the tiebreaker. because they beat both of them. If they finish tied with either the Giants or the Commanders, they have the tiebreaker over them in head-to-head. So they don't need to finish with a better record than the Giants and Commanders. They just need to tie the Giants or Commanders. If they do, they get the tiebreaker, and they're in the playoffs. So I, at plus 770, almost 8-1 odds with their schedule, I think the Lions are kind of worth a shot here.
I won't disagree with you. This Lions Jags game is going to be big for both of us, for whoever, because you're right. It kind of, if whoever loses that game is going to be really behind the eight ball. But the path is there because, as you mentioned, like the tiebreakers are so important when they kind of have a chance to control their own destiny here. Even though you would think a team that's 4-7 doesn't get that opportunity, but they do because of the teams they play down the stretch. And I mean, the other thing I think is important too, Commanders and Giants might beat up on each other. If they split those games too, that's a chance for the Lions to pick up a game on each of them, both of those weeks if they win. So
that's a key point, because actually if one of the two teams sweep the other team, then that might hurt them a little bit, unless the Seahawks fall off as well, because the Seahawks are still there. Step above the Lions. So if they split their series 1-1, that's going to be big for the Lions.
Yeah.
So plus 770. I've seen crazier bets hit.
Yeah, that's facts.
All right, so let's take a look at game of the night. Speaking of the NFL, it is the Colts and the Steelers tonight. Colts minus 2.5. Home favorites with Jeff Saturday leading the charge. Why don't you start us off here, because I'm going to blow my nose. So what's your best bet for game of the night?
Yeah, I'm taking a player prop as my best bet. I'm going under on Najee Harris's rushing yards. It's like 64.5 right now. I just don't see why this line has moved so high just because he had 2 good games. You look at Najee Harris's entire season, he's only gone over this number 4 times. And now he's facing the second best run defense in football. It's allowing just 3.8 yards per carry. I know Jaylen Warren is out tonight, but I don't think that affects Najee Harris's workload. He saw 20 carries in each of the last 2 games when Jaylen Warren was in the game. And so he's averaging 3.7 yards per carry, facing a great run defense. And I think this has a potential to be a game where one of these teams gets in a negative game script. And I think the Steelers are potentially the more likely team that gets in a negative game script on the road. And that's going to take the ball out of Najee Harris's hands. I know he had 2 90-plus yard rushing games. I know it seems like he's back, but this is a spot where I'm fading him. This number's gone up compared to where it was the last few weeks. I just don't see him replicating this performance behind a bad offensive line against a really good run defense.
Yeah, I like that play quite a bit. Remember, it was only a few weeks ago, people are whispers going around that Najee Harris was going to get benched because he wasn't producing enough. And now all of a sudden his rushing total is all the way up to 64.5 against one of the best run defenses in the NFL. So I agree with you on that one. I'm going with the Steelers. This is a rare case that I bet on the Steelers, because I always think that they're generally overvalued in the betting market. But I'm going to take them now. I'm going to take them on the money line, plus 125 here. Big coaching advantage for the Steelers, or at least you would think. I know, I think it was TP3 Bets, I think, sent in community picks that he's on the Steelers, and he listed off a couple trends. Maybe I don't love those trends because these are kind of, I don't really think you can use past years as an example, and I don't really know why Monday Night Football, Mike Tomlin is so good in this spot, but he is. But really, we're talking about a top 3 coach in the NFL against a guy who's making his 3rd ever game as a head coach at any level higher than the high school level. So just those facts alone, you would think the coaching advantage would lean towards Mike Tomlin and the Steelers quite a bit. Also, Kenny Pickett's trending in the right direction. He has played well. He's actually improved in each of his last 4 games. If you look at his QB rating over his last 4 games, it's gone from 66.2, 66.9, 79.7, and then 85.9 last week when he threw for 265 passing yards and a touchdown. He also hasn't thrown an interception in 2 straight games. And TJ Watt might eat against this Colts offensive line. 28th in QB sack percentage. Matt Ryan, my baby boy, Matt Ryan, might be the most immobile quarterback of all time. So TJ Watts, I think, is going to get to him a couple times tonight. So I'll take Steelers on the money line, plus 125. And the community pick is in. They agree with me. They are on Steelers plus 2.5. So it is me and the community against the world tonight. Give me the Pittsburgh Steelers on the money line. Peter, if you had to pick a side, which side would you go?
probably lean with the Steelers. I agree with you. The coaching advantage is just huge. I'm shocked Jeff Saturday won a game. It almost like angers me that he was able to come in and just win a game. It just doesn't seem right. But Josh McDaniels is Josh McDaniels, so it was going to happen. But I'm also, Ian, I'm interested in your thoughts on that. What was the NFL thinking with this Monday Night Football match? Do they think both of these teams were going to be good coming into the season? Like, I know the Colts were supposed to be decent, but like nobody thought the Steelers were going to be good. Their win total was like 7.5. So what were we doing a week 12 Monday Night Football matchup? Come on.
Well, the Colts were my Super Bowl pick, so I thought they would have been a lot better. But they love giving the Steelers primetime games because Steelers are one of the more popular teams in the NFL. So I kind of see it from that angle. But yeah, you're right. You'd hope that they would set a matchup between a couple of potential playoff teams. I mean, the Steelers did make the playoffs last year, but
yeah, I just think everybody was so low on them this year, and I wasn't, and I feel stupid for thinking that they would just win games because Mike Tomlin was the head coach, but not really his fault when the quarterback play has not been good. So
no, yeah, you're right about that. But I'll take him tonight, and like I said earlier, it's kind of a rare spot. I don't bet on the Steelers a ton, but I'll do it tonight. Give me the Steelers on the money line. Community is with me. Steelers plus 2.5. And that is our show. Be sure to check out the early read tomorrow. I believe he's still going live for the conference championship week. That'll be at 1 p.m. Eastern. Reed Wallach, who's had a fantastic season betting on college football. And Daily Betslip will be back tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern. The very same Reed Wallach will be joining me on Daily Betslip tomorrow. I'm sure we'll talk some NBA, some college basketball. Who knows what else we'll talk about. Things will get crazy, I'm sure. Any final thoughts, Peter, before we close things off?
Chance for a Jason Tatum masterclass tonight. You can book that.
All right. We'll see it. Is it a guarantee?
It's not a guarantee. I think there's a chance.
All right. All right. Thank you all so much for watching. Please give the video a like. Subscribe to the channel. I'm going to go have a nap because I'm sick. I'm not feeling good. Thank you all. Gamble or bless. Good luck with your picks tonight. I'll talk to you tomorrow.